So as to take over from IPEG, my name is Arabella Kaline, for those of you who don't know me yet. I'm since October last year president of EAMDA. I'm also president of Neuromuscular Association in Romania, basically, again, a neuromuscular disorder association, national one. And I'm located in Romania myself. But EAMDA, as you may already know, actually the European Alliance of Neuromuscular Disorders Associations was established in 1974 in London, UK. Later, EAMDA has been moved to Valletta, Malta, for those of you who didn't know. And since 2008 is located in Ljubljana, Slovenia. So now EAMDA is officially registered in Ljubljana, in Slovenia. And EAMDA works to support and improve the quality of life of people with neuromuscular conditions. One of our main ambitions as a European umbrella organization is to show everyone that regardless severe and progressive neuromuscular disorders, we can still contribute and benefit to the society we live in. We are indeed valuable people with a lot of qualities and competencies. And in my opinion, we can definitely create added value to the social environment we live in. A very good example here would be people living with SMA. I had a chance of meeting some of them. I have colleagues in EAMDA, so I'm working with some of them. And although my disease is Charcot-Marie-Tooth, a different disease, also neuromuscular, but a little bit different. I must say that I had the privilege of meeting a lot of people with SMA that are basically extraordinary people. People who didn't allow their physical limitation to limit their life and what they are doing in life. And I met people who are in leadership positions. I met lawyers, I met students, I met all kinds of people with SMA with a lot of qualities. And that's why, because I have so many friends with SMA and because EAMDA has been working hardly along the years to show the support for people with SMA and to try to improve their quality life as much as we can. We wanted to support also SMA communities across Europe through our communication plan for August, for this awareness month. So this webinar is basically part of our SMA communication plan for August. And I'm very happy to see so many people here. I won't keep you anymore. I will just pass over the word to IPEG. But first of all, I want to thank you so much for participating in our event, and hope we'll have a wonderful evening together, hearing a lot of interesting things. I myself, I'm very curious to see how it will go. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Arabella. So I would like to give some more information about myself before handing over the discussion, just for new coming people. I have a niece who is SMA type 2 patient. She's 7 years old and I live in Turkey. I have been making patient advocacy activities since 6 years time. I was board member at the Turkish Neuromuscular Disorders Associations in the past, and then I had the privilege to join EAMDA team. Today, again, we are very excited that we have very valuable speakers on board. And I would like to announce Stelios. Sorry if I cannot read your surname properly. Stelios Kimporopoulos, who is from Greece and the European Union Parliament member. We are very excited to hear more about his experiences in patient advocacy and policy making area.
So, thank you very much. And don't worry about my last name. I know that it's a difficult one for population. So, first of all, I would like to thank the European Alliance of Neuromuscular Disorders Association for asking me to join you. As you are aware, I'm not here, as you said, only as MEP, but also I'm a patient and also I'm a medical doctor. As a physician, I have dedicated more than a decade to the challenges faced by people living with SMA. And as MEP, I'm pleased to support their rights in policy making. As we all know, SMA is a rare disease, a rare genetic neuromuscular disease that affects approximately 1 in 3,900 to 16,000 live births in Europe. So we talk about a quite big population. As a disease affects a very small number of the population, the pharmaceutical industry in the past has been reluctant to invest in the research and the development of medicinal products to treat them. For the reason, in 2000, the EU introduced a new legislation that proposed incentives for developing orphan and other medicinal products for rare disorders. Due to that regulation, the research and the production of orphan drugs were increased, as those investing for these medicines benefit from incentives such as fee waivers from the regulatory procedures, 10-year market exclusivity, and protocol assistance, which should facilitate the development and authorization of innovative medicines beneficial to the patients. The foregoing made available treatments in Europe to support SMA patients. However, many SMA patients are still unable to access the care they need. There are great disparities among member states and a great need to harmonize the healthcare system and to change good practices. We are now standing in a very important moment under the auspices of Czech Republic presidency, where the focus is on rare disease. And we are just before the publication of the proposal of the European Commission for the revision of the pharmaceutical strategy and orphan medicinal products regulation. It was the right time to manage rare disease in a more efficient and forward-thinking way in the ultimate benefit of the patients. It's essential to raise awareness of the fact that although rare disease patients represent a small percentage of the EU population, their treatment is crucial for not only themselves and their families, but also for each member state and the European community as a whole. Diagnosis and treatment of rare diseases such as SMA can result in a more socially inclusive European society and can secure equality while eradicating any disparities among member states. Additionally, as it will be further discussed following, it is important to raise awareness that SMA can be diagnosed at an early stage, even during pregnancy. Treatment at any early age, as you know, is vital, as all available treatments have a high efficacy the sooner they are administered, or even symptomatically. In addition, early stage treatment can help avoid institutionalization, providing a better quality of life of persons with rare diseases and allowing their full participation in their society. Personally, I believe that although access to treatment is essential, social rights and better inclusion in society are the areas where people living with SMA need more improvements. It is my political goal to secure and embrace the right of independent living for all European citizens. Everyone, with no exception, should be able to decide where, how, and with whom he or she wants to live. Most SMA patients live with permanent and severe physical impairments, which means that apart from the treatment for SMA, we also need a network of services. This translates into extra cost of living that currently is not being covered by any public allowance. I'm positive that the current regulations, pharmaceutical strategy, and orphan medicinal products, as well as the EU strategy for disabled persons, will eliminate the inequalities among EU member states, as well as the inequalities among different social groups. Adopting the newborn screen for SMA, making treatments available, securing the right of disabled people to personal assistance are important steps towards that goal. We need to follow the examples of those member states that are leading the way in the areas of healthcare system preparedness, diagnosis, access pathways, and access to treatment and care, as well as in participation of patients, organizations in the policy making. We need to collect disaggregated data on persons living with SMA to help identify and address the barriers faced in exercising their rights. Medical data and best practices should be exchanged among states so that not only doctors and healthcare practitioners, but also SMA patients can get all the information they need at any time. Finally, yet importantly, we must secure that SMA patients are not disproportionately affected by stigma or discrimination due to the lack of knowledge or expertise in the field. We should prevent prejudice and foster their inclusion. I trust that this webinar will create a fruitful dialogue to tackle all these challenges and create an environment respectful of SMA patients' physical and social rights. I would like to, at this point, thank you once again for asking me to be here with you and for the invitation to show you my support, my full support on the ongoing efforts that we try to do on all levels for the acceptance of SMA and all the other rare diseases. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Stelios, for accepting our request and joining us today. You mentioned very critical engagement. And we hope we can contribute in this area by working together and increase awareness in each aspect. So it's very valuable. You are making these advocacy activities. Thank you. So I would like to, if there is no addition, I would like to present Mary Christine Ulat, who is that I know from her studies in newborn screening. And she is the board member of SMA Europe, and also she is board member of teleton. Can you hear me? I'm not sure.
Yes, I can.
Okay, because it says that my internet connection is not stable. Okay, so it's very nice to have you here. And what you have done in newborn screening in terms of Europe is very impressive, and we would like to hear your valuable experiences.
So thank you very much for the invitation. My name is Marie-Christine Ouyad. I am the mom of a young lady who is 29 years old with SMA type 2. She's now living by herself. She's an engineer and living by herself. And I'm very involved in newborn screening because I thought it's very important for the next generation. Maybe I will screen my, share my screen. So
yes, please.
I can. Oh, I'm unable to share it. Sorry.
So
no problem. Just to tell you that SMA Europe.
Please try again, because it may have been a problem from my side, but now you should have access to share your presentation.
Okay. I think I am unable to share it, but no problem. I will do it without any slide. Just to tell you that I am part of SMA Europe, and SMA Europe is a huge organization covering a lot of countries through Europe. Now we have 21 different countries. It's a very important place. And we decide to have a program to support newborn screening as soon as we have 3 new different treatment. And these treatments are very, very much effective if you treat at the earlier time, especially if you can treat at birth. And it's very easy to detect newborn at birth through a genetic testing, which can be available and not very expensive. So after a very important scientific congress we have in Paris last year, no, in 2020, sorry, it was obvious that it's urgent to detect as soon as possible the baby with newborn screening. And what we see is that if we treat this baby at birth, at least we have evidence that at the age of 5 years old, this baby has a common development. They can run, they can climb stairs, they can do everything like other baby in the world. So it's very, very important to have this. But it's very challenging to put in place newborn screening. You must go state by state, apply for newborn screening in each different state. Sometimes it's region by region in some countries. So it's very, very difficult. And we discover also that each time they more or less ask the same question. Each country wants the same evidence and ask for the same question. So it's very important for us to have something to support newborn screening. And that's why we create an alliance with different stakeholders like EAMDA, but also Aurordis and different partners like the ERN with a research network from rare disease, and also some pharma who are developing drug for SMA. And our vision is that every child born in Europe must be screened for SMA as part of the routine newborn screening program provided by the public healthcare system. And every child might be diagnosed, must receive the best medical care and also psychological and social care available as appropriate and adapted to the age. And it's very, very important for us. And what we discover that a lot of people are working on this place. And we join also some university to have some scientific, all the questions that normally the stakeholders and the authority ask to request newborn screening. And this paper is now available in English, but you can have it also in different languages. And it will be in Spanish very soon, in Portuguese. And so if you need it, it's freely available. And it's very important, you will have all the answer for the economic study regarding the health authorities, for the ethical rationale, of course, the scientific rationale, but also the different techniques. And in the website also, you can find a video, a webinar regarding the different techniques you can have on SMA to screen SMA patient. Just to give you an idea, the screening in a country like Germany or France, the cost is around €5 a baby to screen a baby. And it's very interesting because it's not so expensive, just to avoid permanent disability. So it's very interesting to have this. What I can say is that if you need any support to develop newborn screening in one of your country, you can come to the Alliance and we can give you a free support. All the cost is supported by the SMA Newborn Screening Alliance and especially SMA Europe. So if you have any requests, any needs to develop newborn screening for SMA in your country, please do not hesitate to contact us and we will be very happy to give you any support. Okay. I don't know if you have some question.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Marie, and definitely we will be in contact about this paper and everything. So now we can, I think, move over to Moica. As we already said, Moica is part of our team. She's an executive committee member of EAMDA. I will let her speak about herself. Just wanted to say that she's an important part of our team. She's also our legal advisor. She's a lawyer, and she's helping us on a daily basis in EAMDA. So thank you, Moica.
Thank you, Arabella. Thank you all, and hello. I'm very honored to represent the experience of SMA patients in Slovenia, which is obviously also my own personal experience, as I'm SMA patient too. So the roots of defending the common interest of SMA patients in the national level in Slovenia go back to 1969, when the Muscular Dystrophy Association of Slovenia has been established. At the beginning, there was no real systematic arrangement in terms of law, infrastructure, and medical treatment. But soon, quite early in late 80s, companies employing disabled people were established, which provided a social, economic, and rehabilitation opportunities for people with SMA. Additionally, a rehabilitation center dedicated especially for people with neuromuscular disorders has been established, which is still an important place for people with SMA. Why the rehabilitation center has a strategic point for people with neuromuscular disease? Well, there are several reasons. Every year, SMA patients are eligible to undertake an intensive few weeks long rehabilitation program, which includes social and medical component. Social one includes a social integration of people with SMA, group session with peers, education activities, and similar interaction. There is currently a good place to exchange experience of all people with SMA gathered together from entire country into one place. On the other hand, The medical component consists of individual health monitoring, physiotherapy session, breathing exercise, massage, and option to go to the sea as the beach and pool are completely wheelchair accessible. Additional value is that there are several professionals in the center who exactly know specific of people with SMA and have a lot of knowledge and experiences so they can give a proper treatment on different conditions to SMA patients. Of course, financing such national-wide therapeutic program has a huge impact on NMD community, and maintaining the program is far from straightforward task. Very important is that the rehabilitation program is organized by a non-profit representative disability organization which connect together a group of people with NMD, and as far as it concerns Slovenia, we are here talking about Muscular Dystrophy Association of Slovenia. NMD of Slovenia, so Muscular Dystrophy Association, applied to a national tender of the Slovene health insurance company on yearly basis. The association also chooses the appropriate rehabilitation center, which actually undertake the whole practical implementation of the program. Historically, there are huge political appetites to transform the presented way of financing of a program, which offers approximately to 800 people with NMD and 300 personal assistants, 21-year-long rehabilitation once a year, and each system transformation means less resources for the NMD community at the end. That is why we need to fight against such political intentions every day. In 2008, Slovenia ratified the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and there be a kept commitment to guarantee human rights and freedoms to people with disabilities, and thus also to SMA patients. An important step for independent living is the adoption of the Personal Assistant Act in 2017, which is dedicated to those adult people with SMA who live independent and active life. For those who have the worst health conditions related to breathing issues, also 24-hour assistance is provided and covered by the state, with limitation to engaging maximum 2 family members as personal assistants. Why is this important? Though the Act is dedicated to support disabled people who live independent, active life and to take the burden of parents' help and to give chance for SMA patients to decide by themselves where and how they will live and organize the task through their days. So yes, nowadays we have also a registry of Slovenian children with neuromuscular disease in use. For adults, the SMA registry is still in developing phase. People with SMA who decided for treatment with nusinersen in the last decade undertook numerous of medical examinations and tests, do the health monitoring and effects measurements of the treatment. So I'm also treated with nusinersen and my body and breathing condition is tested every 4 months for this reason. I had an orthopedic and endocrinology examination, bone mass measurement, monitoring of breathing and body behavior during the night. Nusinersen is not the only treatment possibility in Slovenia today. Early this year, also Risitplam is financed and available for SMA adults and not for children only. In 2020, newborn screening in SMA patients has started too. And first child in Slovenia got Zolgensma in 2021. Yes, we have legislations for the inclusion of disabled people in employment too, but still there is not an easy way to find a proper job for someone who is disabled. Many buildings today are relatively more or less accessible, but often the accommodation in disabled room is more expensive. Many buses have wheelchair ramps, but still not all of them. Many SMA people live independently away from their parents in their own apartments, but there are still few people who have their own family life. Health insurance covers electric wheelchairs, breathing machines, vehicle adaptations, room elevators, but still smart high-tech products would provide much improvements to quality of life of people with SMA. So new treatment regimes reduce the disease progression of SMA but do not cure it yet. A lot has been done in the past in Slovenia for people with NMD, but there is still space for improvements. One of them could definitely be establishment of network of special NMD health centers, which would network together already established national medical staff and facilities and form new specialized treatment possibilities for people with NMD on national and international level too. All that with consideration the current standard of care. In my opinion, such international project would be led by EAMDA and its national member organization. That is great idea, and that is why it's good to collect good practices for a better society, greater opportunities, greater equality, and better life for people with SMA. So thank you for now, and if anyone has any question, you are very welcome to ask.
Moitza, because you already mentioned rehabilitation, I do have a question. Actually, is almost the question that Mr. Figuier tried to ask. If there are in Europe, and now we are going to refer to Slovenia, specific rehabilitation center designated to people with SMA, or with, I don't know, greater expertise in SMA, so the focus is on SMA patients.
Yes, if we speak about the center in Slovenia, it's absolutely specialized for people with SMA and also other people who have other muscular dystrophy disorders, conditions. But for sure there is a lot of knowledge in this center because they cover just this group of rare diseases, not all groups or all diseases. They are specialized for this. And I think absolutely this is very good idea, and also in practice is it's functioning good, because if you go somewhere also in let's say normal common hospitals, there sometimes you still need to inform the doctors and about our rare diseases, because it's numerous of diseases, and Sma A is one of them.
Thank you, Moitza. Any other questions?
Well, I don't have a question, but I would like to thank Moja for talking about this stuff. And I would like to say that I came from Germany just yesterday because of Erasmus internship. And I want to say that in Europe, there are so many opportunities, and I was like amazed, like, wow, they're living their best life and everything. And when I came to Turkey, I have to struggle with accessibility and equality, and you know, it is so frustrating. And I really hope that we can get that level of equality. Yeah, I just wanted to say this. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Seda. Moisa, do you have any comments? It's very nice to
Yeah.
hear your comments, Seda. Thank you very much.
It was so nice to hear Ms. Seda Karakaya, I think, words. Absolutely, I agree. Yes, and I see solution here in connection and exchange of good practices. And of course, to reach the level up and equality, for not to have privileges in our lives, just to be equal to others, is the final point and the goal to achieve.
Yes, so we see it is very important to hear about each country's experience in terms of SMA disease management. So it's great to make these comparisons and work to achieve better conditions in our countries, I think. So I would like to introduce Kasper Ruczynski, and I would like to thank you, thanks to him, because he's for accepting our offer very quickly. He's the founder of SMA Foundation Poland. And also he made, as I know, I don't know him personally, but I hope to meet him personally. As I know, he made great contributions to Ukrainian immigrants who are SMA patients, and helped them in their processes to escape from the war in Ukraine, I can say. So it is nice to have you with us, and we are very excited to hear your experiences.
Thank you, Ipek. Hello, everyone. Ipek, I also love to meet you one day. I hope there will be an opportunity, maybe during the forthcoming SMA Congress in Barcelona. Right, so just to say, yes, we've done a lot. I mean, we've done relatively a lot during the ongoing war, but I was given, if you look at the agenda, there are two topics assigned to me: Polish experience of SMA patients and Ukrainian SMA refugees. So I prepared two short presentations, hoping I will get I will not take much longer than the assigned time. So I'm quite happy that we are still ahead of time. So if you agree to me taking on two topics one by one, and this hopefully we can make up for the time, for the extra time that we have. Right, so maybe I'll start with just to say what Polish SMA community looks like, how it is to have SMA in Poland. Can you see my screen? Can you see the presentation?
Yes, yes, Kasper, we can see.
All right, thank you. So a few words about SMA Foundation Poland. These are on the picture of the right are some of our volunteers. It's a relatively old picture from before COVID. So we have many more new faces now, and some of those on the picture are no longer volunteering. Myself, I'm dad of a 13-year-old girl with SMA. Here you see her picture, her photograph, I think, of 2 years ago. I'm sorry for reusing a photograph, a presentation from some time ago. It's updated, but the picture, I just had to stick with this picture. Poland is a country of 1,000 SMA families, or it was until the war. 38 million people and approximately 1,000 people living with SMA. That's a photo from one of our annual events, and these are all SMA families. Our organization was set up in 2013 by two parents of two SMA children of a similar age. One is my colleague Camila, who has a son called Sebastian, and myself and myself. So the organization started from an annual from an event that you see a few pictures, a few photographs down. That was in 2013. The event met with very positive reception, with a response from the SMA, I wouldn't say community, from many parents with SMA and many adults living with SMA. So we decided to continue and register an organization. We're quite not very creative otherwise, so we couldn't come up with a better name than just SMA Foundation. I hope you'll agree it's a very boring and non-creative name, but it stuck. So we've developed it since. We are quite a digital organization. We all work from homes. We don't have an office to maintain. We use various IT systems to process, to work. So when the pandemic started, it meant pretty much nothing to us. We already worked. We continued working the way we did before. So we're as effective as before. Our annual event that I mentioned, this is by and large the biggest event. That's something that around which our SMA community. I mean, there's something that gives the rhythm to our SMA community. It happens annually. It's always in summer, sometimes at the end of summer, sometimes in the beginning of summer, depending on how we feel would be better next year. We had the largest of them was we had more than 200 SMA families arriving. The last one that took place in June, we had 150 families. When organizing and decided to organize an annual event, we sort of also looked how it's being done in other countries. So we borrowed a bit from Italy, we borrowed a bit from the UK. Our event, I must say, is quite a place, an event to be. So is our SMA community 1,000 people or even more? What are the bright sides of having SMA in Poland? Right now, we have all the 3 treatments reimbursed for pretty much everyone, Everyone with SMA can have access to at least one therapy. So Spinraza has been available for long. It was reimbursed in 2019. As of today, we have approximately 830 patients treated. Evrysdi will be reimbursed from the 1st of September, so like in 2 days from now. Already we have around 50 patients receiving Evrysdi through a clinical trial and another 50 through a pre-approval access program. And Zolgensma, likewise, will be reimbursed from the 1st of September. It will take time before it is physically available, but the program legally is available from the 1st of September. It will unfortunately be limited only to children who are diagnosed through newborn screening and not to symptomatic children. So we have quite a lot of crowdfunding ongoing, and that's not going to end, unfortunately. There are 34 treating hospitals across the country. The number might change now with the new program because we might see some new hospitals bidding to run the program. We have newborn screening in place. From this March, all children born in Poland are screened for SMA. Several clinical trials open, even of new drugs. It's quite a good home ventilation program where those who need respiratory support, they receive non-invasive ventilation. They receive all the equipment at home. There is a good orthopedic hospital that does scoliosis surgery in SMA. Very good experiences. My daughter had a surgery there and it's nothing to complain about. Physiotherapy is another bright side. Very, very good physiotherapists and with very, I would say, very good access to physiotherapy, very good physiotherapists, and very intensive physiotherapy in Poland. Well, of course, our annual SMA event, amazing SMA community, and our organization are another bright side. Challenges of living with SMA in Poland. Are there many challenges, and not everything is bright. So even though I focus on bright dots, the overall picture is perhaps less and different in a shade of gray. So we have no system of clinician-led healthcare. Patients are left to look for the best or the required therapy. For example, orthopedics, there is no regular visits, hospital visits, other than just to receive Spinraza. There is no regular monitoring through a multidisciplinary team. Such multidisciplinary teams have not been put in place. Yes, there was recently a new regulation adopted that would facilitate and provide funding, government funding for the creation of such teams, such centers of excellence. But it's not yet in place anywhere in the country. Healthcare funding is often insufficient to cover non-standard devices like orthoses, lightweight orthoses, or specialized electric wheelchairs, or those wheelchairs, manual wheelchairs that need to be very lightweight for children or for people with SMA. It's enough for standardized equipment, but nothing. But if we need something for people with neuromuscular disorders, people will have to chip in, have to contribute to the cost. The social and financial support is, I would say, it doesn't match what is available in Western Europe. It is there, but it's a far cry from what it could be. Financially, slightly better for people with long-term conditions. So we have parents who prefer not to work in order to keep receiving benefits than to seek employment, because they calculate it as having more income from benefits, but apart from benefits, you don't receive good social support. House adaptations are a problem. Accessibility at schools, accessibility of public spaces is also quite limited. Electric wheelchairs can be reimbursed, can be bought, but this is within annual projects that are run or are not run by local authorities, and they have limited funding. So whoever applies first, they tend to get it, but when the budget runs out, you can't get it. Little expertise as well in equipment. And since late 2019, we are battling with the issue of narrative of SMA, crowdfunding, modeling the scene, and presenting the disease in pretty much in the correct light. Peddling false information about SMA. It wasn't there before, but now unfortunately it's the situation. Families from Ukraine will also have challenges. Now we have a few hundred, more than 100 families who arrived from Ukraine, and they struggle with housing, with access to healthcare, because they are quite late, with language barriers, and with access to some parts of social support as well. Did I mention equipment? Equipment, that's also something that they struggle with. Many of them could not take all the equipment they had along with them when fleeing Ukraine. They took only whatever they had, they packed bags, and they left all the equipment behind. So that's another issue. Our focus areas for SMA, I will not read it out, but we are focusing on offering reliable information on SMA, on building SMA awareness through various tools towards various audiences, to the government, to the mass media, to the general public, and also for SMA families, for the entire community, through various workshops, trainings, webinars, the SMA summer camp, parents meetings, moms meetings, dads meetings, the annual SMA event, and so on. Reimbursed access to all treatments, that's done. Spinraza done in 2018, starting 2019. Evrysdi done just a few days ago. The announcement was a few days ago. Zolgensma done. Similarly, we are discussing modifications with the health ministry. Newborn screening done. Accelerated diagnosis is ongoing through a grant from Novartis. Multidisciplinary healthcare is something we're trying to tackle, but it's a big challenge. The National Plan for Rare Diseases has been adopted by the government, but that's all. It has not been, nothing has changed. We are training physiotherapists. We have some excellent physiotherapists, and we run courses for other physiotherapists who want to know more about SMA and how to do SMA, how to do physiotherapy in SMA. We started 3 years ago. We started personal assistance service through a government grant. So we received funding in the range of 200,000 euros for an annual project to hire personal assistants and physiotherapists for mainly adults with SMA. Yeah, like the vast majority of participants are adults. Access to equipment, the project for Polish families is ongoing, but there is very little interest these days, unlike a couple of years ago. But we will be restarting it for families fleeing from Ukraine with a slightly modified project. They will be able to apply for funding, to receive funding for equipment. And we are working, liaising with anyone who wants to talk about SMA, who wants to help the SMA community. Thank you. So that's about SMA Poland. If you are not bored, tell me, are you bored, or shall I move on to the Ukrainian response?
Please do continue. Otherwise, your presentation is very engaging, and you already said some very interesting things. So we are looking forward to seeing your next presentation as well.
All right, thank you. So I'm sharing the presentation, and here it is. Receiving. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so that's about. I will share our experience, how things looked like from the perspective of our small team. So perhaps how others saw it externally might be different, but this is just a list of things that I now retrospectively I think were like most memorable, or I remembered most. So how to so a bit on the background before the war. So until the 23rd of February, some things have not changed, right? But still, Poland, population 38 million, we had 1,000 patients, as I said before. One therapy out of 3 was available, and that was Spinraza or nusinersen. All the patients could access it, except if it wasn't possible, or they had side effects, or they had contraindications to the therapy. Newborn screening was already in place. The last province was entering and introducing newborn screening. Ukraine had a population of slightly bigger than Poland, but much fewer SMA patients. It's unclear. The reason for this discrepancy or this difference is unclear. Might have to do something with Ukraine being on the periphery of Europe, and we see similar phenomena in, for example, the Baltic states and I believe Ireland, where the prevalence of SMA is much lower. There was no therapy widely reimbursed in Ukraine. There were limited programs in place for a few patients, few dozen patients all in all, either through pre-approval access program or humanitarian programs or local reimbursements done by one of the regions of Ukraine. Newborn screening was planned to be introduced sometime this year, but the war started. So before the war, around 50 patients with SMA had relocated to Poland. Around 50 families, I should say, in order to access therapy. That was the reason, but perhaps for some of them might have been economic reasons as well, because Poland had a significant net migration from Ukraine in the range of 2 million people before the war started. And that was economic migration. So when the war started on the 24th of February, when bombs started falling on the east of Ukraine, it took us, I admit it, we did not had a meeting the same day, but we managed to have an emergency meeting the next day in our organization. That was an internal meeting. We tried to devise a response. So we came up with some priorities, with the areas we can try to help, with the systems we want to put in place. We spent all of the 26th of February, which was Saturday, on finding volunteers, Ukrainian-speaking or Russian-speaking volunteers who were onboarded, and we were putting in place various IT systems, most importantly, call center. On the 27th of February, that was Sunday, we already had a call center. We launched, that was around noon, we launched the call center. We launched a registration form, multilingual registration form, set up an email address, and posted information, multilingual information on our website. And on the 1st of March, or I believe it was might have been like a few days after the 1st of March, we launched a new multilingual website for in Polish, English, Ukrainian, and Russian. So we had instantly started receiving phone calls and emails from SMA families. These were like dozens a day, dozens and dozens, those tens of calls all the time. We had volunteers taking them one by one, changing from their homes. So it was a very, complicated system, but they were able to take calls and respond to queries, answer to families. Our team processed all registrations. We tried to reach out to every single family who contacted us, and we tried to come up with an individualized response. So that's how the website looks like right now after the launch. Initially, it was updated very frequently. Recently, we did not update it very much, but it's a multilingual website with important information. Individual assistance focused on help with transportation to Poland. So we had a driver, someone who was bringing families from Lviv to Poland. We also had an option of helping families from inside Ukraine, but none of them wished or wanted, right, declared willingness. We had contacts with rescue organizations, with large humanitarian organizations who offered us to bring any SMA patients who we tell them to. Of course, not from the front line, but from wherever it was safe. We supported families with border crossing. provided documents to carers. As you know, carers were frequently unable to leave the country due to the regulations, Ukrainian regulations. We tried to do our best to provide letters. Success rate was it's difficult to judge because to leave Ukraine, you either had to have court papers or, well, you had to bribe your way out. So I don't know to what extent our letters helped, but we tried to provide official documents with stamps, copies of official documents that scans were sent to Ukrainian families. With our team, the bulk of the operations was finding accommodation because a family arrived, 3 people, 6 people, 8 people, and we have to instantly find accommodation that will be wheelchair accessible to host them. And I can tell you, on most days there was not a single hotel place within 2 hours drive from the border crossing. So that would be like 250 kilometers. Within 250 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, you could not book a hotel. So this was quite a challenge, but we've managed. We've managed to really shuttle people across the country, all over Poland. Not all of them were happy. We tried to listen to their desires, to their wishes, that they want to go to a specific part of the country. It was not always possible. So we had to offer them accommodation elsewhere. There were some of the nights were so hectic. I remember I think the second week of war was the most difficult. We had 6 families crossing on one night through 2 different crossings, and there was another night when we had 5 families crossing, and some of them were managing on their own, but some of them needed like remote piloting by staying in touch with them all the time and helping them, guiding them. It was like a situation, if you remember, where no one knew what will happen next, whether the border crossing will not be bombed by Russians, by Russia, how things will evolve. So there was panic, I would say. So emergency equipment, in a few cases we had to buy emergency equipment when we realized that the person, a wheelchair user, has been brought from Ukraine to the border and do not have a wheelchair. So now, sitting from homes, because we did not have anybody on the ground there, we had to buy and deliver a wheelchair. Organizing travel to Western Europe, we decided early on that we would start pushing people to Western Europe, and we met with an offer of other SMA organizations in other countries, and they were willing to help, to accept, to offer accommodation, to welcome the Ukrainian refugees. So this was clearly an offer from the beginning. Not all. So we were, and the Western countries have a much better system of social support than Poland. It's much better. I mean, whatever you receive, whatever support you get from the state is incomparable, especially in the case of adults. So we tried to convince Ukrainian families to continue, go on, that we will fund, we will buy them tickets, we will secure accommodation in the West. And some of them agreed, some of them went on, some of them traveled themselves on their own, but the vast majority, 90%, did not want to go beyond Poland. Initially, I think there was a belief that the war will stop in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks, in 2 months will be over. I've been trying to explain that we don't have a tradition of short wars in Europe. We are not, let's say, India and Pakistan, where we fight for 5 weeks and it's over, right? No, we have a tradition of 5-year wars, 10-year wars, 30 years wars. That's the tradition. So we should not really expect that this war will suddenly last 6 weeks. That's not our tradition, I would say. Not in our culture. So families still stayed in Poland, and the government has made all possible arrangements, including granting the rights to benefits and the access to job market immediately to all the arrivals from the 24th of February. Our team was helping people to access therapies in Poland, to access Spinraza, access Evrysdi as well. We liaise with pharma companies. We've put up some guides online. For some families, we funded even taxi, happened to like taxi 2 hours drive or 3 hours drive to hospital, 150 kilometers. These were like various individual cases. We've liaised with, we've proposed to have interpretation services for hospitals, and unfortunately one of the pharmaceutical companies picked it up, or I think 2 of them, and they agreed that they will fund themselves and arrange interpretation for Ukrainian families themselves. I don't know how it's working, but the arrangements were supposed to be in place. Planned and ongoing. I already mentioned that we will be distributing or having an option of applying for the necessary equipment for SMA families coming from Ukraine. All sorts of, wheelchairs, hoists, stair walkers, electric beds, whatever is necessary for daily life, orthoses. So this will be, we have received already funding for it. We just have to put a proper system in place so that the person who needs gets it. So we are best placed to respond to needs. We still have funding to support accommodation. This will also be launched very soon. And we still encourage families to travel onwards to Western Europe. Still funding is there. We are willing to help as much as we can. We've helped like 130 Ukrainian SMA families, approximately plus minus 10, but we stopped counting at one point because what you say can be hard. For some families, you provide everything. Others just received a letter from us to help them cross the border. But roughly, we've been liaising with 130 SMA families. Our SMA annual event this year, here you see families from Ukraine gathered. We had 27, if I'm not mistaken, 27 or 37, I don't remember right now. I have to check, families from Ukraine who participated in the event. So here's a separate photo for all of them, or most of them. So that was our annual event this year was translated into Ukrainian and Russian. So we had a conference system where people could have headphones and had interpretation online, live interpretation, live translation of key workshops. So that was also done. I have this slide, I will just skip it. We received funding from through Facebook crowdfunding around 13,000 euros. We received around 15 or 16,000 euros from other SMA organizations from across Europe. We've received also 8,600 in funding from Eurordis. Or it's not funding received, a possibility of using their, let's say, credit line, I would say. 20,000 from SMA Europe for the annual event and for the equipment, and the larger grant that is not yet received, but it's very soon will be received from Novartis for equipment, accommodation, relocation in the workshops. So we see a pharma company doing a lot to help Ukrainian SMA families. So very much appreciated. Thank you. Any questions? If there are any questions, please do ask. Here I am.
I actually have a comment regarding your last presentation, because I do have a very good friend of mine, a Ukrainian lady, who managed to take out from Ukraine and help cross the border to Poland 400 persons with disabilities, SMA included. Yes, she's actually an NGO activist herself, working in international organization, but also representing one of the local Ukrainian organization, Agape Association in Ukraine. And I was so impressed by the fact that she chose to stay there during the war just to help 400 people with disabilities and their families, their relatives cross the border. And yes, they managed to go to Poland, and from there some of them went to some other regions. I don't know, maybe you had a chance even to work with her, but it's amazing. I know Poland was so supportive with this Ukrainian situation. And even on behalf of my friend Galina, I really want to thank you. Also for being here tonight, but for everything that you managed to do through your foundation.
Thank you. It's our team who was so motivated. Everyone was so motivated, and our country unfortunately has some history with Russia that I guess motivated people further and like helped to feel what it might be being attacked by a larger neighbor. That doesn't mean, of course, that we are. I mean, I have very, very good friends in Russia too, right? So it's nothing against Russia as such, but politically speaking, like if we see like the phenomenon of help to Ukraine, that was certainly influenced by specific historical events. I'm glad that we've helped. As I said, our team was very motivated, and they worked. The first weekend that we decided not to take calls was the 5th weekend of the war, from the war. And we say, okay, we are switching off the line, and we are not taking calls. We are putting the voicemail on, and we are not. People can look into look after their own families and disconnect from this help. Otherwise, people will burn out. We also introduced our volunteers were all helped by a psychotherapist. It was such an intense period that they had weekly or more frequent psychotherapy sessions all along, and access to individual support if they needed, that we've arranged and paid for. Because it was very, very, it was very intense, I would say.
Thank you once again for your presentation. And just because time is running, I think we will leave the questions to the end. Then there is no time limit for us, at least here in EAMDA. But I would really want to move a little bit forward with our next guest on the list. And I want to introduce you to Claudia Dumitru, who is president of SMA Care Association in Romania. And she's also SMA Europe's delegate in Romania. She's not only a mother of a young lady with SMA, but also a passionate advocate for the rights of people with SMA in Romania. So Claudia, welcome. We are happy to have you with us tonight.
Hi everybody. Thank you for the introduction. It will be a little bit hard to speak after Kasper, but I will try my best because he's a very good speaker and has a lot of good things to say. I always learning from him. So I will try to share my screen. I have few slides. First of all, I want to I'm a mother, like you said, of a young girl, 13 years old young girl with type 2. The association started in let's see if I can share it. It can be seen.
Yes.
Okay. I hope, let's see. Okay. The association was founded in 2011 when we decided that we need to do more in Romania, and our scope with the association was to improve the quality of life of the SMA people, to raise awareness about SMA, because actually in the beginning in Romania there were no broader knowledge about SMA, so we wanted to do that, also to build a community for the SMA, because in the beginning we didn't know each other. After that, help with access for the treatments nowadays, not in the beginning. Also with the improvement of the standard of care, and on the last on the list is the newborn screening, which is a very important topic in the present. Also, we are a member, like I said, of SMA Europe. We are a member of Eurordis, and also of the local rare disease umbrella organization. I will tell you something about SMA in Romania in this moment. So we have estimated like 200 patients, children and adults. We have 10 national centers which are dealing with the patients. So there we treat the patients, and of course there are more knowledge than in other hospital about SMA. In this moment we have 3 approved treatments. Spinraza was approved in May 2018. Evrysdi was approved in this year in March, and for Zolgensma, Zolgensma is now on the list of, let's say, or proposed for the list on the list of the approved treatments, but it will start only from 2023, so not this year. Something that we are still working, and I wanted to mention now, for the treatments, even if they are available for all patients, we also have some protocols with inclusion and exclusion criteria. So in this moment, from my knowledge, I know that we have, for example, for patients that do not receive treatment because of the this exclusion criteria. So we still need to work on this regarding the treatments. Regarding newborn screening, we started let's say we started in 2019, but also we started earlier. But in 2019, we succeeded to have a meeting in the Ministry of Health and present to them the reason why we need newborn screening, and how we can do newborn screening in Romania. Unfortunately, after that meeting, which wasn't, let's say, a success, because they told us that in order to have newborn screening in Romania, we need to work on some points, and I will tell you the points actually. So the first point was to develop and approve a diagnosis and treatment guide for SMA. But we explained also from that point that these guides are, let's say, available outside Romania, and so we can take them, implement them. So the knowledge is out there. Then they said that we need to have the possibility to treat these these new cases detected. And I think this was the only point for which in that moment in 2019, we didn't had, let's say, it was not resolved, because we couldn't, even if Speranza was approved, we couldn't treat pre-symptomatic children. So actually, even if we had newborn screening starting in that moment, but that was not possible. We couldn't treat because of the protocol, but in this moment, so in 2022, the protocol is changed, and now we can treat also pre-symptomatic babies if they are screened or if we found out at birth. So we did a lot of advocacy starting from 2019 for newborn screening. Also, we translated the white paper that Marie-Christine was telling us and send it to authorities. But still, we don't have an answer from them. So we are still working on this to be implemented. But in the meantime, the first pilot study in Romania started, which was initiated by the national center called Nicolae Romanescu, which is one of the 10 centers dealing with SMA, one of the first and the best centers dealing with SMA. In the pilot are in this moment 4 maternities included in this project. 3 are from our national maternities, and the 4th is a private maternity. The duration of the pilot is in this moment 1 year. They want to do it more, but we will see depending on the funds that they will get. And the pilot started in July, this year in July. The location, yes, of the 4 maternities are in Bucharest. So we have now the first pilot in Romania. I hope that this will be success, and I hope that they will find also more funds for this pilot in order to screen as much as possible children in Bucharest for this moment. Because in Romania, very important is that right now we have only 2 newborn screening programs which are done at the national level. So we are fighting to have also SMA included in the newborn screening, but also some other diseases to be screened at birth, because this is also important. Regarding the standard of care, unfortunately in Romania, they are not so well implemented, even if they are known and they are written in the protocols. They are known by the patient, by the doctors, by the national health authorities. We are still facing problems because some of the devices and the medical devices and also other devices, they are not covered by our state. For example, the co-assist device is very important for SMA, and in this moment is not covered by the state. So each SMA patient family needs to buy this device, which is expensive. And we tried for a long time, so it's like 4 or 5 years we are trying to change this only for this device, but still we are unable to we were unable to do that. Also, we have we don't have coverage for the electric wheelchair. So for these devices, which are more expensive, and also for other small devices used, for example, for type 1s, like I don't know, pump, special pulse oximeters, and other devices. And another point, which unfortunately is not so well done in Romania, it's about the multidisciplinary team, and also this is let's say a problem in the children SMA population, but let's say here it's manageable. But also for the adults, it's a problem, because when you go from children to adults, this this change is very difficult, and it's very difficult when you change your doctors and the team, and you don't have a very good team to take care of you. So what we want to do next in Romania is to treat all patients, also the ones that in this moment doesn't have access to the treatment. I hope we can succeed that. We want to work further to implement the newborn screening. Sorry, this is in Romania, I forgot to translate it. So we are preparing some events for the newborn screening. I hope we can do it this year. If not, maybe we can do it next year. But we work to implement the newborn screening, and we want to work also with the alliance. After that, so we are, like I said, we are continue working to implement the standard of care and try to convince the state to cover as much as possible from these devices that we need in Romania. And the last point is something that this is like let's say a personal challenge for me, because from when we started to know more about SMA, to have the treatment, to have all these new drugs coming now, but we are still a country where no clinical study program for SMA is in place. So I hope maybe this will change in the next year and put Romania also on this list. This is like a personal challenge that I want to do. So this is a very small discussion about Romania. So if you have questions, please ask me. This is a picture from the last Congress that I like very much for SMA.
Thank you so much, Claudia. I really think that if everyone agrees, we will leave the questions to the end, because we want to make room to the other two presentations that we have still left. It's okay with you, Claudia? Can you stay a little bit longer with us?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So I want to introduce next Robert Veres, who is actually president of Vernic Hofmann Association in Romania and a patient with SMA himself. He's an enthusiastic young fellow, supported by his family, who is by his side in every activity he organizes for the benefit of the members of his association. His main expertise is in organizing very successful camps and workshops, especially personal development workshops for people with SMA or even other disabilities. I just want to mention that last year I had the privilege of hosting a camp together with Robert, and his expertise was more than valuable to me. So thank you, Robert. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much for these kind words, and I was happy to collaborate with you. Also, thank you very much for inviting me to be at this webinar, and let me try, if I can, to share my mirror. Maybe it works. If not, then I will ask your help. But first of all, let me try if it can do it from me from here. Let me see. Yes. Okay, I don't know. Can you see it?
Yeah, now.
We can see your screen. Yes,
no.
we can.
Now?
Yeah, better.
Now you can see it, right? Okay. So,
okay. Yeah, now you made it perfectly.
Wait a second, because it put it.
Page 6. I think.
Just a second, because it started at the middle.
If it helps, I can share it. It's up to you.
Okay, now it is.
Great.
So you can see it, right? So this is me, Robert Veres. I'm president of the Werning Hofmann Association and also CEO of the Romanian National Alliance for Rare Diseases. And my association was founded in 2008. I suffer from SMA type 1, and I wanted to do an association not only for patients with SMA, to do an organization where I could organize different kind of camps and activities where we can integrate patients socially. So these are some of the objectives of the Werning Hofmann Association: organization of information and counseling campaigns, sensitizing the population of the problems of children and adults with physical disability for their protection and their integration into society, organizing cultural and different kinds of summer camps. And everything started with a few meetings, outgoings, and mini excursions. The main goal being the social integration of people with disabilities. We focused on their involvement in different kinds of activities. We also organize the Rare Disease Day because we are members of the Romanian National Alliance, and we want to awaken the public opinion about the rare diseases. Also, we do volunteering. Of course, the organized events would not be possible without the unconditional help of the group of the volunteers that we have within the association. People who, through their involvement, help to increase the quality of life of people with disabilities, but at the same time, contribute to their own development. And now about the workshop we do. The main goal of this project is to increase the degree of involvement of people with disabilities in cultural through adoption of co-cultural lifestyle by them and raising awareness of the community regarding the need to include them in the society. People with disability had the chance to develop through this workshop a series of skills necessary for active participation in cultural life and exploration of the natural cultural heritage of the country. They acquire different skills such as the ability to assess risk, to make and assume a decision, to leave the comfort zone from there. The workshop put the participants to reflect on the key points in their life, to try and to find different kind of methods which they can help. They also have the opportunity to talk about their principle and to talk about values according to which they shape their life. What and very important or less important to them. The exercises also aimed at developing teamwork, making and assuming decisions, but also strengthening communication, collaboration, and conflict management skills. And there you can have some photos where we managed to do this stuff. We also do city breaks where we visit different kind of touristic objectives, having some relaxed time together. And now talking about the summer camps which we organize, they are organized at Pobal. This is the place where we did them. We started in 2009 and we were started with 25 people at the beginning because and also with just 3 days. After that, the second time, these summer camps are organized every year. And after that, we try to make it to organize it for 1 week. And these camps open a series of new opportunities for the members of the association. They can do promote values such as teamwork, facilitates independence and autonomy, and also they are becoming more open and learn to make decisions and assume responsibilities. Thanks to the participation in such a camp, members have the chance to create support groups and social networks, making new friends and strengthening the old creative and discover their possible talents and abilities. Sorry, it went back forward with the slide. Okay, here you can see some of the photos doing the activities we have. We do karaoke. We do different kinds of handmade activities. The summer camps and the number that people have participated in these camps every year has grown. And this is some photos from the 7th edition, where we had almost 100 participants. Other photos also taken from these camps. Here I have some photos with fire camps, and what activities we do and held are various: socializing activities, independent life skills activities, getting to know each other's activities, karaoke, group cohesion games, handmade activities, and of course fire camps and disco nights. And these are some photos from the 10th edition of these mobile summer camp, where we had 130 participants, and it was amazing, but it was very hard to organize it because it was a very, very huge number of participation. And this is another project we wanted to do, mostly I wanted to do, to organize a summer camp at our Black Sea. It is very hard, and I saw that our members didn't had the chance to go at the seaside. Even our volunteers, which are healthy persons, they didn't have this chance. So my dream was to organize a summer camp at the seaside to make activities where mostly every people, even those with SMA or just another physical disability, to be able to join and to feel the water, to see the sea, and to be able to have a week very with a lot of memories and joy. Another thing what I did is this is my biographical book, Beyond Appearances. It's in Romanian, sadly, but this is about a patient living with SMA. I write this book together with the friend of mine, Daniel Zole, and all I wanted to do in this book is to show how a patient can live with SMA, even if it's this disability makes you to be a little bit to face different kind of problems, but always being optimistic. And from selling that book, the donations all were to my association to make it happen another dream. And this is Friendship House, where I want to have a perfect accessible place for people with disability, because in Romania we have this problem of not having really having accessible places for people with disability. I hope you managed to see it.
The last slide was very interesting, by the way. I don't know if you can put it.
Yes, I want to go there to the last slide.
Yeah.
Some technical problems, sorry. This is it. I choose a quote about which was said by Ayrton Senna, who is a Formula One driver and champion. I really love Formula One. And I also put this quote in my book because I think you can read it, you can do a lot of things if you try to make it like it is written in that quote. And this quote drives me all my life. I really don't like to lose. I never give up. And although my association is a little one, and we always have problem to find funding, we're doing these summer camps and these workshops because since I was a kid and I participated when I was 7 years old in a camp for 3 weeks without parents. It was amazing. I felt very independent, and I said to myself after I finish university that I want to do this kind of stuff to the people who have the same problem as me. I hope you enjoyed this slide. It was a little bit fast because I try to be in this window of 10-15 minutes. But if you want to find more about us, you can find us on Facebook at Asociacja Werning Hofmann, or there is my email. I hope you like it, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Robert. You actually reflected quite well one of EAMDA's most important missions, to show that people with disabilities, SMA included, of course, can be valuable to the society, and they can do so many things without being limited by their disability. So thank you so much for reflecting it so nicely. And
thank you very much. And if there are questions at the end, I hope I can answer it to them. Thank you very much.
Definitely. Thank you, Robert. Ipag, I think you want to introduce our next guests.
Yes, actually. So thank you again for it was a great presentation. EAMDA has social part in their conferences. It's like a tradition. And under this social part, we would like to focus on youth camps, retreats, camps, as you mentioned, and also independent living and personal assistance. We have Fatma Çoban with us, who is from Turkish Neuromuscular Disorders Association. She is the vice president of the association. And also we have Bahar Yavuz from Turkish Association of Women with Disabilities. Actually, they made a great project here in Turkey, and the project was funded by European Union, and they prepared a key tool roadmap for independent living and personal assistance. I would like to hand over Fatma to make their presentation. Thank you. And also, I would like to make a little announcement. We have Roberta with us, who is going to translate Fatma to English. Thank you, Roberto.
No problem. Hi, everybody. First of all, Fatma will tell in Turkish, and then I will try to translate everything she says. Başlayabilirsin Fatma.
Ben öncelikle teşekkür ederim. Böyle bir örnek oluşturulduğu için, böyle bir etkinlikle bir araya geldiğimiz için mutluluk duyuyorum bir yandan da. Onu belirteyim. Ben önce kendimi tanıtayım. Çok fazla zamanınızı almayacağım çünkü zaman kısıtlı ve 2 saat oldu. Epey de yorulduğu insanlar diye düşünüyorum. Ben kısaca kendimi tanıtayım öncelikle. Ben 53 yaşındayım. Kas hastasıyım aynı zamanda. 30 yıla yakındır tekerlekli sandalye kullanıcısıyım. Roberta nasıl yapayım? Susayım, sana bırakayım sözü.
Olur, öyle yapalım. Now she will tell some sentences and then I will try to translate. Just for not taking so much time, she starts for introducing herself. And thanks for this opportunity, first of all. She is 53 years old. She has a muscle disease and she has been using wheelchair like over 30 years. Tamam canım, devam et.
Evet. Kas hastalığı beraberinde getirdiği sorunlar ile baş etmeye çabalarken 25 yıl önce Türkiye Kas Hastalıkları Derneği ile tanıştım. 25 yıl önce Kas Hastalıkları Derneği ile birlikte sorunlara baş etme yolculuğum şu an başkan yardımcısı olarak devam etmekte.
She was trying to coping with her muscle disease and the problems it brings. She met the Turkish Muscle Diseases Association 25 years ago, and for 25 years and now she has been doing the vice president and with her journey, of course, with coping with her problems and other muscle disease patients' problems. Evet.
Bütün bu süreçte hem kendi hayatımda hem de kas hastalarının yaşamında karşılamaya çabaladığım en önemli sorunlardan birinin bağımsız yaşam önündeki engeller oldu. Kas hastalıkları çoğunlukla ilerleyici hastalıklar biliyorsunuz. Böyle olunca bizlerin yaşam içinde destek ihtiyacımız daha da önem kazanmakta.
During these whole processes and whole years, the most important problem that she faced and she tried to meet in her own and other lives of the muscle disease patients was the independent living, the obstacles of the independent living. And you know, everybody knows that muscle diseases are mostly progressive diseases. And for this reason, the need of support for life became important day by day. Evet.
Bu anlamda ne yapılabilir diye kafa yorduğumuz bir süreçte karşıma Birleşmiş Milletler Engelli Hakları Sözleşmesi çıktı. Bu sözleşmeyle Türkiye 2007 yılında sözleşmeye imza koymuş. 2008 yılında da Türkiye'de yürürlüğe girmiş bu söz konusu sözleşme.
During these years, they were thinking that what we could do or we couldn't do. And then she came across with the United Nations Convention of the Rights of the Persons with Disabilities. And also Turkey has the signature under that. And in 2007, Turkey has the signature, but they came to the reality in 2008.
Burada birçok haktan söz edilmekteydi. Çok heyecanlandım. Söz konusu sözleşme yaşama geçse engellilikten dolayı bağımlı yaşam ortadan kalkacaktı.
There were lots of talks about topics about the rights, and she said that she was so excited for that. And if the contract had been implemented, the dependent life for us, for the due to disability, would have been disappeared. Now patients might have been independent.
Yazık ki orada söz edilen birçok hak ile ilgili hala yasal düzenlemeler yapılmadığı için bizler hala birçok sorun ile mücadele içinde yaşamaktayız.
Unfortunately, there are still no legally regulations in these contract. So we are still struggling with many problems for the rights of the mentioned there. Tamam.
Sevgili Seda demin Almanya'daki koşullardan söz etti. Almanya sosyal ve yasal anlamda bizden çok ileride. Biz bugün Sma Farkındalık Ayı vesilesiyle bir araya geldik. Bir yandan da bundan dolayı ben ülkemizdeki Sma hastalarının da tedaviye ve ilaca erişimin önündeki birçok sorunu olduğunu ve sorunların çözümü için gereken düzenlemelerin yapılmasını umut ettiğimizi belirtmek istiyorum bir yandan da.
And before, Seda said that she talked about her conditions when she lived in Germany. Fatma and Seda came across today for the SMA Awareness Month, and she says that she would like to state that there were many problems for SMA patients in our country in terms of accessing to the medicine, and hopefully we hope that all arrangements will be made for solving all these problems.
Konumuza dönecek olursak, bağımsız yaşamdı bizim konumuz. Ben bugün bağımsız yaşama demeyi çabaladık. 2021 yılında Engelli Kadın Derneği'nden gelen bir webinar davetiyle ben yine çok heyecanlandım. Bağımsız yaşam ve kişisel asistanlığına yönelik farkındalık oluşturmaya çalışıyorlardı.
This is today her subject is the awareness of the independent living. And in 2021, she was excited once again, and she had an invitation for a webinar for the Disabled Women's Association. And they were trying to raise awareness for living independent for disability people and for the assistantship, personal assistantship. Sonra vermem.
Evet. Onlar ile büyük bir heyecanla bir araya geldik. Kişisel asistanlık ile ilgili Türkiye modeline yönelik pilot uygulamaya birlikte kafa yorduk.
Devam edeyim mi?
Ben bu anlamda kişisel asistanlık uygulamasını Türkiye'de en kısa zaman dilimi içinde yaşama geçmesini umut ettiğimi belirterek sözü proje koordinatörü Engelli Kadın Derneği'nin kişisel yaşam ve asistanlık projesiyle alakalı proje koordinatörü Bahar'a bırakmak istiyorum çok fazla uzatmadan.
Fatma and Bahar came together for great excitement, and they thought what we could do, we couldn't do. And then they made a pilot implementation for the Turkish model regarding for the personal assistantship. Now Bahar will talk. She is the project manager for this. And Fatma states that she hopes that the personal assistance application will be implemented in Turkey as soon as possible.
Thank you so much for this great opportunity, invitation, and it's really exciting for us because we have a chance to listen to the speaker from Slovenia, which was so important for us. Actually, from the point that we started to think about independent living and personal assistance is independent living as a right guaranteed in UNCRPD Article 19 is not well understood in Turkey as it is in most of the countries. As you may know, independent living is just movement. This movement was a self-advocacy movement. People with disabilities came together beginning with the 60s, and they say that nothing about us without us. This is a very important state that defines how this movement, independent living movement and the disability movement comes true. So this is very crucial in Turkey as well. Actually, in Turkey, we are still struggling against charity-based model and medical model, which defines how the services can be defined. When it comes to a SMA issue, for example, people need to collect money for very important medical support. It's really nonsense. This is the right to health, so everyone have a right to access this right without paying that kind of money. Families are struggling for their kids to be healed, to access those kind of services and medicine. And actually, this is really important because this is really connected to independent living rights. What we want to do with our projects, I just want to say something briefly because we almost 2 hours. So I know that many of us are so tired. When we are doing this project, we want to create a community for supporting personal assistance is a very important as a key tool for independent living, because we know that in some countries in Europe, this system is implemented and most of people with disabilities are benefiting from these services. And the financial support for these services can be given by the state, and it's really practical. And through the personal assistance, people with disabilities can access life with the equal base with others. The other very important part of our project is to promote independent living and personal assistance in Turkey. We created a video for personal assistance. We created an analysis report for independent living in Turkey for people with disabilities, because we have many different services can be evaluated in the scope of independent living. And the other very important thing, which is creating a policy model for personal assistance. We want to create, as I said, we wanted to create a community. This community consists of different disability activists and representatives from different NGOs working right-based came together, and we started to create a model, thinking and evaluating different implementations of personal assistance through the Europe actually, and we recorded 3 webinars from international speakers, which is very important because this is a very new topic in Turkey, actually. I know that most of you are talking in your countries and most of you have this system in your countries, but for Turkey, it's really new. So we just want it to be a mainstreaming. So we created very important, recording with the support of European Network on Independent Living. Maybe you may know this very important network through Europe. They are working specifically for the right to independent living. And actually with their support, we have different guests like Adolf Ratska. And we, through these webinars, people with disabilities, NGO representatives, professionals had a chance to listen to personal assistance with very important experiences. And then we just wanted to make it much more broaden, and then that's why we expanded our target groups, as not just persons with disabilities and NGO representatives, but also media representatives, policymakers. And we are still going on doing our after project activities, because this is really important to work on lobbying and advocacy. And we are translating the Slovenian model into Turkish because it's really helpful for us to learn. And we have a policy model as well. So we are looking forward to financial support to implement this model in Turkey, to see how it can be implemented and see the pros and cons and possible challenges and opportunities to make it as a very important service in Turkey, because we know that the institutionalization is very key thing. And through this kind of services, every person with disability can have a chance to participate in community without discrimination and with equal basis with others. Thank you so much. I don't want to talk more. Maybe if there's any questions, we are happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bahar. It's a great wrap-up of the project. And also EAMDA is based in Slovenia. Our headquarters is in Slovenia. And for sure, we can help you in improving this tool. Let's be in touch for your further studies.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. Thank you so much for this kind support.
Thanks again for coming. And may I make a small announcement that if everyone can open their camera, we can have a group photo.
So sorry, but before this, we still have one request, and I really want to give the floor to Ukrainian association. Vitaly, thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you, Rebecca, for the floor. Unfortunately, I found out the webinar too late, and I regret that I did not prepare some kind of slides about us. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Vitaly Matyushenko. I am a president of the Ukrainian organization Children with SMA, father of daughter with type 2. The terrible 24th of February destroyed the organization's 20 years work and our hope to access to treatment in Ukraine. It was worst SMA Awareness Month ever been. However, we will definitely recover yourself as soon as it will be possible. Now I just want to express my gratitude to the Polish Foundation, Kasper, and his team for the extraordinary help for us, as well as SMA Europe and ERDs who stay with us all this time. Thank you so much.
We really thank you for your words and for being here with us. And we just want to assure you of all our support whenever it is going to be necessary, because I know the times are still hard there, and our heart is broken for the suffering of people with disabilities, SMA patients, and actually for every people in Ukraine. So EAMDA would definitely want to express our availability of support any way we can. We are here an alliance of multiple organizations located all over Europe. So Vitaly, please make sure to contact us. I will give you my personal contact also. And whenever you have any kind of need of support, we are here all connected, and a very nice network of people here, very dedicated, and we are more than happy to support Ukrainian people.
Thank you so much.
If I may add something, yes, Vitaly, yes, thank you for saying, for your very kind words. Thank you so much. I mean, we are all, we are all in that fight for the better fate of SMA patients. We are all together. At the end, I would like to extend an invitation, perhaps an unusual invitation to all of you. Those who feel like coming to southern Poland. Adults with SMA in Poland are organizing sky jumps this coming Saturday. This is the 4th edition. We had already 3 editions. So if you feel like, if you are having an SMA and feel like jumping from the altitude of 4 kilometers, then of course with an instructor, with a partner, jumping partner, you are most welcome to come this coming Saturday from 8 a.m. in Gliwice in southern Poland. So yeah.
Seda, you wanted to add something?
Sorry?
Oh, I see a raised hand here at Seda also.
Oh.
Oh, hi again. Casper, I wish you could tell me when I was in Germany. I would definitely do that.
Yeah.
I would definitely stay in Germany, but then I'm sure that my parents would kill me for it, because they are so afraid me to doing crazy things, because I'm a little bit crazy girl. Because I like to do crazy stuff.
So you could have a different another option, just by not getting killed either by your parents or by sky jumping. So which one is more pleasant?
So never say never.
Oh,
yeah.
I would never say never ever.
But yes, if you have such a possibility, jump on the plane. It's not far from Krakow, which is a good international airport, even closer to Katowice, which is also an international airport with reasonable connections. From Warsaw, it's 2 hours by train to Gliwice. So come and jump. People with wheelchairs, people unable to walk, SMA people, they just jump, but also healthy people.
Well, I hope someday.
Very interesting. I also did kayak and skiing, but sky jumping never did. Maybe I will try out.
Try.
Maybe we should try together.
yeah, we should try it together. I mean, kayaking, I didn't enjoy it too much, but skiing, now that's a different thing. I really enjoy it very much, skiing.
Oh, yes. Yes, I can. Yeah, even me being healthy, right? I enjoyed skiing. So when I was a kid. No, but yeah, please contact me, or even better, my colleague who's organizing it. She's an adult with SMA. and we are more than happy to help to guide and advise how to get there.
Okay, maybe when I'm going to visit Poland again, I will search you.
All right, sure, most welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
And me too. And I would like to say, I would like to offer my help for you, for your Ukrainian community too, because I'm a student at university. I study Russian language and literature, so I can give you my offer to help, to translate, to interpret, and to get connection between the young SMA patients. And also, I'm here for help. You can get in touch with me too.
Seda, yes, thank you so much. Actually very needed, because we need people who speak both English and Russian to help, especially with the relocation to English-speaking countries, which is a nightmare. But a nightmare on the organizational part. You mean it's very satisfying when you do it, but it takes some work. And so if you are, I'll contact you off the call, outside of the call then.
Yeah, of course. I would glad to help you. It's okay. Thank you.
That's my email address, just in case.
Okay, I will get in touch with you.
All right, thank you. Thanks. Good.
This is again the perfect example why such alliances are very important, and such kind of networks, you know, because as we like to say, together we are stronger. Definitely in times of need, and not only in sharing experiences, in joining our forces in everything. It's much better to have such a team of people, of organizations, and I'm very happy to see that EAMDA has been since 1974 an alliance, a European alliance, and working with so many organizations all over the world. And this is what me as a president, and I know my team agrees, we wish for EAMDA, to grow together, to join our forces, to help each other, because this is also very, very important. Yeah. So are there any comments or questions? Because from EAMDA's team, I know we are still a few people left, but we are still here. We don't go anywhere. We can discuss some more. Just to take again, Mr. Figir, I will translate a little bit. Domnul Mihai, am încercat să pun și întrebarea dumneavoastră. Aveți microfonul închis. Poate reușiți să-l deschideți. His mic is off, so he's trying to open the mic. I just want to make sure that I understood. Okay, now you managed.
Scuzați-mă că am mutat greșit. Deci, pentru domnul Casper am o apreciere deosebită. Vrea să rămânem în legătură cu el, că el este un model de bune practici, cred că pentru toată Europa. Și
o să traduc pe bucățele ca să pot traduce. He was just saying that he has a deep appreciation for Mr. Casper and the Poland Foundation. That of course what you are doing is a good practice model for all of us.
Și vă rog, dacă se poate, am vrea să mergem în vizită la ei, să facem schimb de experiență. Că vrem să facem și la noi la Arad așa ceva.
Yes. So Mr. Mihai, he has an association himself for people with disabilities, a local one, but he, besides being although he's a person with disability, himself, he's fighting for trying to do as much as he can there locally, and he even hopes that one day we can somehow provide a sharing experience. I mean, something different, you know, when you have this, for example, done inside of a project, and you can visit, for example, the organization in Poland. So we can have an easier way of sharing experience, and we can learn from each other. Yeah.
Yes, yes, thank you. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
If you finished, I will add something. If you finished.
Da. Întrebarea legată de centrele de reabilitare, cred că am pus-o deja. Deci, așa cum vedeți, în Europa sunt centre, probabil că nu există centre de reabilitare specifice pe SMA, dar există centre de expertiză unde există multă experiență în SMA și reabilitarea se face țintit.
Oricum, vă mulțumesc mult de tot, ținem legătura. Eu sunt la 11 injecție cu Spinraza și se observă rezultate foarte bune, deși am o vârstă destul de înaintată, 73 de ani.
Oh, so he was just saying that he's actually an SMA patient himself, and he just had his 11th shot with Spinraza, and he can already see a lot of improvement, although he's 73 years old. So it's very good news that the treatment is working, although he's not at a young age anymore. Vă mulțumim, domnul Mihai.
Eu vă mulțumesc, vă doresc succes la toată lumea și ținem legătura, ne auzim pe viitor să vă spunem mai multe.
Sigur.
O seară faină.
Siguranță. La revedere. Okay, we can. Ipek, you wanted to say something?
Yes, before Bahar goes, I think we should have the group photo together because everyone is going. I would like to take a photo shot and I think I was seeing here and I was seeing SMA Azerbaijan Association Summit because you wrote in the text box. So maybe we can hear you a little and take this group photo together.
Thanks for to let participate in this webinar to us. It was very interesting, really. I first time in this webinar. Thanks for all. Thanks.
Thank you for joining.
Thanks.
We thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Yes, and definitely we should stay in contact. EAMDA is here to help as well as we can, and in any way we can.
And also it's a great opportunity to hear each country's experiences so that we can educate better in our countries, and EAMDA would like to ease this communication between the countries. So we hope to continue our activities. Thanks again. If everyone open their cams, can I take a photo so that we can publish in our social media accounts maybe?
Yeah. Let's see. Can you open the? It would be great if. Hi, Michael. Now we can see you.
Yes. So I will try to make a few photos. So I am taking. So I have to take one more. Sorry. It is not easy to take the good one. Sorry. Yeah. So I am taking it again. Yes, I think it's okay. I don't want to.
I think the print screen also, no problem there, Ipek. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And once again, thank you for your participations. And I would like to thank to Robert and Seda especially because In this SMA Awareness Month, we have 2 projects. One of them is SMA Webinar, which is very important to share information. And our other project is SMA NFT Art Gallery. We have just opened our gallery a few minutes ago, I can say. And I would like to share my screen and show the gallery to give you an idea. You can visit our gallery till 18th of September. We collected photos, illustrations, or videos from SMA patients, and then upload these art pieces to our NFT art gallery. We would like to increase awareness in terms of SMA, and also we would like to create funds for our association and also the patients, the participants. And this platform will be open till the middle of the month, I can say. And there is a bidding on this platform. Once we sell to the highest price, we are going to split the funds halfly between EAMDA and the participant. We hope to make a efficient project, and let me show you the screen, and then I finish, I hope. I don't want to keep you more. So yes, can you see my screen?
Yes.
It is on OpenSea platform. It is the most well-known platform of NFTs. And we have under Good Art Project, the account name is Good Art Project. Under this account, we have SMA Awareness Art Gallery by EAMDA. Here you can see some art pieces from our participants from different countries, which is great. So this is, for example, from Connor, who lives in England, and he's a SMA type 2 patient, and he's an awarded photographer. And here we see the art piece of Robert, and we see Seda's self-portrait, which is drawn by herself. And we have other pieces here. We converted some pieces by using artificial intelligence to different art pieces like this. And under each art pieces, we see the explanations, the information about the patients, and their message to the community. And the messages are very impressive, I can say. I hope we can spread these messages all around the world and make an effective project. Thank you again.
Yes, so definitely we tried at least this month to show our support to the European SMA community. And this is something that EAMDA plans to do for the future as well. So we will try to focus on the main important, not many, all of them are important, but at least to some NMDs that are more spread around Europe, and we will try to show our support through this kind of innovative projects, webinars, but also innovative projects like our NFT art gallery. EAMDA wants to focus more on our member organizations, and we will try definitely to support our member organizations and to help share their activities, their information, their events. And we are here to grow together. And again, as I said, to help each other, because I think this is very important. And now with Ukraine and everything, we can see very clear that we really need to stick together, at least through this way of working with one another. So I just want to thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And because it's already night in Romania, so I think, yeah, it's at least it's night there in your countries too. So thank you so much for being so patient. And we are sorry that we took a little bit more than more time that we planned in the beginning, but I think it was all productive. And we want to thank once again our speakers tonight. Their message was so important, and we couldn't have organized this webinar without their support and their contribution. So thank you so much. And we definitely need to keep in touch, in contact, and just think some other projects, common projects and webinar together. So thank you once again for being here. Have a good night, everyone, and keep in contact.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you
Bye.
once again. And Moise,